Stance width was okay. We want to make sure those knees are slightly wider than the shoulders, so you got plenty of operating room. I'm not going to come back to it because that wasn't on your chart. But stance width, you know, we don't want to get too narrow. Sometimes I think last year you were a little narrow coming in. What we did have is you're underextended on the front end. You don't have a lot of bend in the arms, okay? And number two, you're tall in the saddle, meaning not a lot of knee bend, so your rear end's kind of high, okay? When you're underextended and your rear's high, there's going to be a tendency to hang onto the ball past the legs. At that point, your arms are only going in an upward direction, so you're going to tend to arc that football. Not a good thing for a long snapper, basically, okay? As well as that, or in addition to that, you had a little bit too much weight forward in your stance, okay? Your knees are out ahead of your toes, and that's kind of the giveaway. And that gives us a slightly weight forward bias, which means that when you drive the legs, they're going to be pretty much straight vertical. To capture the lower body motion energy and channel it into creating drive for the snap, it needs to be back into the hips a little bit. All right. Also going straight up, it T-bones the upper body energy and cancels out some of that too. So it's counterproductive in two ways. What we need to do basically is take your front end, your head and shoulders, raise it a little higher off the ground. Give yourself some operating room. Okay. Then we need to push you back into the hips and increase knee bend in the process until we get you in a better set with the knee bend, knees directly over the toes for optimal balance, okay? Go ahead and set up with three-step you, and we'll take a look at that. No, let's go ahead and snap back to your target now. We're good now. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, first thing I do is pull your foot, get your knee bend to 90 degrees or less, straightens the back and extend. Raise you up, maximizing operating room under your torso. Last thing I do is push you back into the hips towards your target, not down to the ground, but back towards your target till the heels touch the ground, knees are over the toes, and you're solid on your feet. Now by moving you higher, we move you further from the ball, which improved arm extension without getting it too far out, okay? Give it a good hard two-handed throw, positive fingertip pressure with both hands. Okay, not bad. The last thing, does it feel pretty solid? The last thing we want to talk about is as you snap, you start with your guide hand on top of the ball, and you basically do this and then throw it. If you're moving that, it may not always be consistent, number one, and it's going to be awful hard to generate linear drive with your left hand because, you know, you can throw with two hands. Let's take advantage of it, okay? So you and I have been experimenting with a couple of things. One thing was, hey, maybe just put your hand there and snap it from right there. Didn't seem to be real successful. The other thing we worked on today was positive fingertip pressure. Try to pull the ball through or push the ball through with that hand. You've got to keep it down. Now, in the morning when we first identified it, you did that really well, and we saw a lot of linear acceleration, good velocity on the ball, and you threw some great footballs. It looks like as the day's gone on, we're starting to have more and more trouble with that. So we need to figure that out. I need you working on that and giving it a lot of attention. The final thing we had is coming in, you're pretty much kind of an all-arms guy because you're underextended, just the way you were set up tall in the saddle. You couldn't really get your legs and your gut crunch into it. You're short here. We need to open you up so you can crunch through, drive with your legs at the same time that you're throwing the football. Okay. Let's do one more three-step, and then we'll talk about how you can get yourself into position properly by yourself. You ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Push against my hand slightly. You comfortable there? Relax. Okay. Give it a good hard two-handed throw. Ball through with that hand as well. Better. Okay. Now let's talk about how you get yourself set up by your, you know, without me here to three-step you, because after tomorrow I won't be. All right, go ahead and set up. So coming in, you were underextended with the arm. Okay, you had a lot of tilt in the ball too, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Okay, you were a little weight forward. So what we did is we raised your front end higher off the ground. We settled you back into the hips and increased knee bend in the process to get them positioned right over the toes. Fair enough? Now with the long arms that you've got, you might want to put the ball a little further out, but just be sure it doesn't shift the weight. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, lift it off the ground, make sure you're solid on your feet. Set it down for a good setup. Give it a good hard throw. Excellent, excellent snap. The only concern remains that, you know, good stability. Yeah, that hand. And we got to get it figured out.
Yeah. It seems to be working now.
Do me a favor, just try to throw it with your left hand. Put your guide hand on, put both hands on, and then take your right hand off, and just try to throw through with your left hand. Yeah. Okay, do it again. Hey, Mom. Okay. All right, so we raised the front end, lowered the back end, got you balanced, okay? Take the right hand off, throw it with your left hand. Try to roll it off your fingers. Not bad, not bad. Now, try to do that same feel with two hands this time.
Okay.
See if you can do it. Now I will kick you. How's that? Don't get too low on the front or too tall on the back. Make sure your weight's balanced, okay? Try that again. You slid it. You feel it?
A little.
I want you to practice that a little this afternoon. Let's see if we can make a breakthrough. If we do get it all nailed down, we'll film it and document it. But I think that may be something to do. You might even want to try this. Get those hands on, and then just do this. Take this hand off. Just have like 2 fingers on it, and then try snapping through. Try to get that left hand working more. Try that one time. That's, you know, we're kind of in experimental zone here, but we're going to find something that works. Take all your fingers off, but the first 2. Try to snap it like that. There you go. All right. I think that's going to be a key. Let's try that and see if it works, and we'll know by tomorrow. I had you down as also kind of jabbing at the follow-through sometimes, but I think on film we saw that your follow-through was pretty solid. You're getting the hands through the legs well, so I'm not going to make a big deal of that. Okay. Just be disciplined, especially when you're doing this type of practice without any blocking or covering. Thumb to the sky, palms to the sidelines. Really train that body for muscle memory.
Okay.
You got any questions?
Nope.
Looking pretty good. Okay. Good. Now, keep it rolling for a second. I want you to work on this. When you get home, just work on scooping the ball through with 2 hands and mostly using this hand. This is just guiding it, okay? Although that's your throwing hand, okay? I want you to practice this, and then snap it, okay? I want you to work on that when you get home. Jimmy, so we raised the front, lowered the back, got the knees over the toes, made sure arm extension was solid. Good 2-handed throw. Excellent job, Jimmy. Go back.